Indeed, education is very paramount for the growth of an individual and a country. On today's edition of the program, The Enterprise, we'll be talking to the founder of Foundation for Adequate Education, Mr. Olubolade Ayo, who will be telling us the importance of education, and not just education, but education with devices such as this. Let's take a walk into the Enterprise room where we'll be talking about education and its importance to an individual and to the nation. You're welcome to today's edition of the program, The Enterprise. My name is Anthony Momodou. You're welcome to the Enterprise.
All right, it's a pleasure being on your show.
What would you say was the turning point that led to you to establish Foundation FAE?
Foundation FAE was an initiative that started when I was first at Swansea University in the UK. That was the first time I actually got to realize what education is all about. Because, you know, I grew up here in Nigeria and I did my BSc in France, then Masters in the UK. It was when I got to the UK I realized the essence of education, the value of education to a nation, to a society. So upon finishing my master's degree, I had already had an intention that I was going to start the foundation. So I came back home, met some of my friends, Onyema, Suki, Bello, Wale, and I spoke with some of my friends also that I studied in Swansea, like Dr. Kabil, Solomon, and they all agreed that we should go ahead and start the foundation. So that's how that came to light. So we are about 5 that started with me, Ayo Olubolade, Oyema Obaji, Bello Erufai, Adesupomi, Okupi, and the rest.
Were there specific hurdles you had to surmount in order to achieve your aim of establishing this foundation?
Yes, it could be, but you just have to be patient. When you want to achieve a goal, when you want to achieve something, you have to be patient. Even registering a foundation here in Nigeria is quite different. They will ask you for there are certain requirements. You have to have the following documents and the rest. But if you have patience, you would actually, if you know what you are going for, you should be able to accept it and just let go. There were times in which, for example, they asked for things that you feel were irrelevant.
Like what?
For example, they asked for our passport pictures, our address. To me, well, if I've given my ID card, you should have my information. Like, for example, if I want to put a foundation abroad, once they have your name, your ID card, they know everything about you. But in Nigeria, you should have to give them all those details one by one, and to me, it was not needed. But me having someone's name with his driver's license, his passport, you should have the information about the individual. That's the way I think anyway. Okay,
did you have to take a loan from a bank? How did you, generate the income you use in setting up your foundation?
Well, we, the founders, we are quite fortunate. Let me use that word. So we had worked for a while, so we've saved actually. So we all contributed to start the foundation. Well, starting the foundation, first of all, you have to have the zeal, because you have to understand that a foundation is not like a business where you're expecting money. A foundation is something you're doing, you want to give back to your community, you want to give back to society. So most people who even partnered with us, for example, we have partners like Campus Touch, Onome Foundation, OEM Foundation, and the rest. They are partners. They are people who understand the value of what we are doing, you understand? So our advice before you start a foundation, you should have the zeal, the passion. You should know what you are going for. You should not go into it because you see it as a business. You should go into it as you are giving back to your community. You're giving back to your society. So with that idea in mind, we met the right people who were willing to share their knowledge, their ideas, what they've acquired in life, what they've done, you understand? We met the right people who were willing to work with us. It was not easy. And we had interviews with some people, We spoke with some people over the phone. Basically, people who are members of the foundation, there are some abroad, there are some here in Nigeria. We had few conversations over Skype to have an idea of what can they give back, why do they want to join us? Why do they want to work for us? How do they think? What do they want to give back to the society? It's from there we did our three. We chose who are qualified to be part of us and to work for us.
All right, we know that for a foundation or a business to be successful, you needed the right kind of staff. What were the parameters and what were you looking out for when trying to get your staff?
Well, we did have a lot of people. We had to do interviews.
Okay.
And also, it's not about even getting staff, it's about getting the people who are willing, people who are perceived, people who want to make a difference. That is the foundation. If it was a company now, you're looking for people that will help you get your return on investment, but in the foundation, we are looking for people who are the zoo, who were willing, who had passion for it. So we used, we got people from NYC, we have IT students.
Or was it getting people who had the passion?
It was not, you have to go through interview, you talk to them, you sit them down, like those abroad, and you can have a video chat on Skype, just to have an idea, because there are a lot of Nigerians abroad who want to change the way things are back home. So you Skype with them and you have an idea of how they think. And if it's in line with the foundation goals.
Okay, looking at the fact that doing business in Nigeria could be really cumbersome and stressful, what other challenges would you say you faced in getting started?
We are not saying it's not adequate. There are basic things that are missing. Basic amenities that are missing in certain institutions in Nigeria, which is not normal. For example, you go to public institutions, okay, where there's no basket. Those are even basic. No basket, no toilet, no board, the roof is opened, you understand? And we want to pass a message to the next generation coming. We send our kids to that institution. Simple etiquette and manners could be learned from ordinary having a basket in the class, you understand? Having a basket, for example, in the class shows that you don't litter. There's a reason for the basket being there. But when you send your child to a school that doesn't even have a basket in the class, definitely listening to him becomes normal. I don't know if you get, because it's just simple. Those are minor things. A school that has a toilet will tell the child, I'm meant to go to the toilet to defecate, not defecate on the roadside. You understand? So if certain public institutions, I'm not talking about private, public institutions or government institutions are lacking those basic amenities, how do you expect them to have manners and understand certain etiquettes in life?
How cumbersome was it for you getting your papers documented, and was there any point at which you felt like quitting?
It depends, private or public. Okay. For public institutions in Nigeria, I'll start with public. I feel the government themselves should take care of that. Let me give you an instance. The university where I studied in France, University of Lyon 2, it's a public university, but which is being, well, the government is in charge, you understand? You pay, but we don't pay that much. But the quality of what you get from the institution is quite, you understand, it's quite unique. You know you are in school. You have everything in class. There's the integration of education technology in school. There's integration of mobile learning. You can do the BYOD, which is bring your device to classes. You have opportunity, you have access to information. There's Wi-Fi point or access point on every, and that's a public institution. They give you access to the knowledge you need. Here in Nigeria, when you go to public institution, you've been in a state of shock because you ask yourself, how do they learn under these conditions? You understand? I don't want to use the word ridiculous. It's quite funny. That's what I would say. It's quite funny when you go to public institution in Nigeria. Now, for the private institutions, yes, abroad it's quite expensive, I'll admit. But that is why students learn more. Because they pay for a service, like they pay to get the knowledge. The Swansea was quite expensive, yes, but you know that when you're in school, learning becomes fun. Learning becomes something you are addicted to. It's not just going to class and listening to the professor telling you what they taught him 20 years ago. No, you learn. As you're learning in class, you are given links, access point or reference to where you can even go and gain more knowledge on what you understand, learning. And they give you the resources, they give you the material, they give you everything you need. So why would you want to pay for such a thing?
Okay, by your name, Foundation for Adequate Education, Does that translate to the fact that education in Nigeria isn't adequate?
Foundation 5, which is Foundation for Adequate Education. First of all, I would like you to do that. It's an EdTech, Education Technology, Mobile Learning, and Edutainment Foundation. It is not normal foundation as we know it, because that's what makes us different. In fact, we are the first EdTech foundation in West Africa for now, Education Technology Foundation. We believe that the future of learning is in education technology and mobile learning. Even Bill Gates has said it. CEO of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, has said the same thing, that the future of learning will be education technology and mobile learning. And that is what we are trying to bring into the Nigerian system. We want students at university, at institutions, to understand that there is more to learning than just going to class and writing. How have we impacted Nigerian youth? Well, if you check our foundation, we have an online learning portal. We give them reference to online tools, educational technology tools. We have YouTube channels where we upload different videos from, let's say, University of Harvard, University of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and other various universities. We also introduce students to what they call open courseware, which are courses that are free. We can get from open universities abroad. We also introduce them to open softwares, like software that are free. Like instead of you getting Microsoft, you can get, let's say, LibreOffice, or you understand. We give them information or way to gain access to certain information. We are not a foundation that goes to deliver chairs and no. We believe in the mental state. We believe that we should give them access to certain things which they don't have in schools. All
right. For your location, what did you consider before deciding to take a location for your business and for the facility?
It's quite hard because there have to be a survey. I cannot give you a school that is just, I don't know. It depends on how big the school is. So I can't really say this is the minimum. You get what I'm saying? It's quite, I can't. I'm really sorry. I don't know. I can't say that. Because you have to do a survey. A survey is necessary to know where the access points will be, where the following things will be.
Okay, let's look at government institutions, education institutions, and that of the private education institutions. Would you say there's need for the federal government to regulate the private sector? Okay,
I'll start from the government. When you look at, okay, let's take last year budget, for example. When you go to civilized country or, foreign countries, civilized, mostly US, Canada, and the rest, when you look into their budget, the percentage of education, for example, is like, of their total annual budget, is like at least 18 to 22% of the total budget. You check the Nigerian budget, education last year, what they give us is like 3% of the total. That shows, well, to them, education is not something really important. I don't think we value education as much as the foreign or the Western world do. They put more into education. They pay more attention. They believe they have to support. Unlike here in Nigeria, it's quite the other way around. 3% of the total budget, whereas in the US is like 22%. You can see the big gap. That shows you the difference in the quality of what you get. Now, for the private institutions, I feel some are trying. At least they are working hard. They are innovating. They are like, I don't know, Baba, or what they call this, Afe Babalola. They are trying. They are linked with MIT right now. They have OpenCourseware. They are integrating. They are partnering with foreign. You understand? But they've still not integrated education technology also into their system. Because typically when you go to most of these institutions, they just put a laptop, you understand, and they tell you this is the computer room. But the problem is you don't teach them how to use it. You don't teach them how to use that to gain access to information. You don't give them assignments that will allow them to use the technology. You understand? To learn more. They just know it's a computer. I don't know if there's a big difference in having a computer like what they do in most Nigerian schools. They tell you our school is ICT inclined. You understand? Than explaining to them the technology behind it, the reason behind it, how they can use it to enhance themselves, how they can use it to upgrade themselves. Because the brain, to me, is like a software. The more you learn, the more you upgrade. You won't become obsolete. But in most cases, they teach obsolete things. You understand what I'm saying? There's no channel for improvement. That's just it. I think the government should regulate it to a certain fee, because there are some schools they will charge 6 million and some will charge 1 million. You understand? The gap is too much. But since it's private also, I don't think the government will be able to intercede in that, because it's a private institution. The government basically can only intercede in public, and let's be realistic. You can't go and tell, I'm just giving an example, Converter University how much, I don't know if you can't dictate for them because it's private. But if the government could, it would be equal, to make it equal and accessible to everybody.
How would you say you have impacted our lives or the society? What will be your assessment of the impact?
Education is the key. We all know that. If the people are not well educated, are not well enlightened, certain ideologies, certain ideas, certain things will be put in the space of where the education is meant to be. I don't want to talk about certain things that happen in certain parts of the world, Boko Haram and the rest, but if the people were knowledgeable, you understand, if they were educated, they would not go into certain cult. That's one. Now, for a nation that does not understand the value of education, we always feel the repercussion later in the future, both economic-wise or mental-wise. Let's give you an example. Let me give you an example. When you look at the universities here in Nigeria, people always complain we have half-baked graduates. You finish from school, you still go for graduate training program. Why is that? It's because of what you learned in school is not, you understand, is not okay. It's half-baked. That's why when you want to enter a company, they'll still tell you go for graduate training program, you take tests. It's because you were not well informed. You didn't have access to the right tools, the right, you understand, the good quality education. Most people didn't have access to it. So when they leave, for example, universities, and they get a job, these are the same people that apply to be in position of DG, PAMSEC, ministers in the future. So if they don't have the right, how would they carry along the country? How would they help us to move into that next phase? It's not possible. All
right, you're an advocate for technology in education. What countries would you name as countries that are best suited to give the right educational materials?
Well, we have the equipment here in Nigeria, but if you want to go for the old gam, I would suggest Japan. If you want the real, or UK, definitely. But Japan is always ahead of, everybody knows that Japan is always ahead in everything technologically wise, they are ahead.
Well, could you give us the cost implication of setting up your business?
Well, we run general, we use an inverter. So that it depends on where your office is and where it's located, that would depend on the cost implication. We got an inverter of 2.5 kVA. It carries all our PCs and the rest, and we have our gen. What else? We pay for the electric bills. You pay for the office rent. You pay for the online, because we have courses online that we store online, so you pay for that, the servers and the rest annually. What else? Then, if you're into publicity like Facebook adverts and the rest, and then flyers and the rest, you have to put that in place also. So, based on that, it depends on how much you want to do, maybe.
All right, for those coming into the education sector, what would be your advice in order for them to succeed and for them to prevent the pitfalls in the education sector?
For those in the business of education, I'm the foundation aspect. Well, if they work on innovation, work on technology, they can probably make something like integration of education technology and stuff like that, learning, mobile learning, into certain institutions that lack such facilities. Yes, they could make money. But for a foundation, it is not our priority. I don't know how to, ours is just to get the message out. Well, they should key into the education technology aspect. Because when you look at the way people learn here and the way they learn abroad is entirely different. Education technology allows the integration of ideas, like I said, BYOD, bring your device to schools, you understand? If entrepreneurs key into that aspect, they can actually make gains or profits or whatever they're looking for, you understand, if they want to really make money. Because education technology is like the key to the future. That's just it. There's no other way. When schools have education technology integrated into their system, there won't be room for obsolete learning, like obsolete old learning materials, because every day is like a software. You keep updating, you keep upgrading, so they can make money through that aspect if they're interested.
All right, as we begin to wrap up, we'd like to know what your advice will be for the student, the Nigerian student out there, government, and the general public as a whole.
For the Nigerian student out there, seriously, education is fun. If once you really understand what education is, you'll be intrigued. Education is like an intuitive app. You become addicted to it once you know how it works. Once you have access to the right information, once you know how to access certain things at different parts of the world, you realize education is fun. That's one. For every student out there. That is why we always advocate for education technology in the system, because that will allow or enable Nigerian students to see beyond what they are being taught in class. I don't know if you, let me give you an example. If you're a computer science student and you're doing computer science, let's say in Nasarawa or something, and you are doing computer science, if your professor is teaching you Fortran, go to check online. What are they teaching other students in Harvard, in MIT? It's online. Everything's online. The video is there. The courses are there. You use that to have an idea of where you are. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. What they are teaching in school and what they are teaching other people. So that will make you understand how interesting education is. For the government, I feel they should dedicate more to education. Unnecessary strikes are not needed. Strike of ASU, those are not actually needed. That's not needed. A government should understand that education is the key, is the future. So they shouldn't go on strike with these things should be done behind closed door, not affecting the next generation.
Alright, that's how we call it a wrap on today's edition of the program, The Enterprise, where we looked at education, adequate education for a people and for a nation, the importance of education, using devices such as the one I'm holding right here to ensure that adequate education is gotten. That's how we call it a wrap on today's edition. Join me next time for another very exciting edition of the program The Enterprise, exclusively on People's Television. My name is Anthony Momodu saying thank you for joining me. See you next week.